and welcome back to my channel. So today is the last Freaky Friday of the series. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please comment down below if you have. It lets me know that you want to see more kind of things like this. I've absolutely loved it. It's been something that has allowed me to read for people that I've wanted to read for a long time. So I'm very grateful and thank you so much for watching as always. Today's reading is for the legendary Biggie Smalls. His energy is so beautiful. He's got a very graceful, respectful, calm energy. Very, very calm energy. And I've connected with him in a way that I've never connected with a spirit before. As I meditated and listened to his music before, he made sure that I wrote everything down. I'm not usually one to write things down, but I mean, I'll show you. I've got notes here that he insisted that I write because I feel like he was someone who had a lot of deep thought. He was a very deep person and he wrote things down. The last song I played before I switched on this camera was Missing You by P.Diddy and Faith Evans, and I have a very teary Biggie Smalls. I felt the tears flow. There's part of the song which says we miss you continuously, and all I could hear back from him was I miss them so much too. There's a lot of love from him. He was a very loving man, and I'm just going to read through some of the things that I picked up as I connected with him. So obviously one of the very big things that I wanted to talk about was his relationship with Tupac, because I'm a very big Tupac fan, and it's only of recent that I've really come to understand the relationship that those two had, and I was very interested to hear his side of the story. So as I connected with him, one of the very first things that he said to me about their relationship was, remember that we represented modern day black power and they wanted to destroy that. And I just thought, my goodness, you're right. He reflected back to the Black Panthers and Martin Luther King as he described this, and he said we were that in a modern day version, and they didn't like it. When we're talking about they, I'm talking about the police, the government. It was very threatening to them. They felt intimidated by it and they wanted to bring it down. He went on to say that Puck was my friend. He didn't have nothing to do with murdering me. That was my brother. The way things ended with that relationship really hurt me. He was very deeply hurt by the way things ended with Puck, and he keeps showing me him going to the hospital when Puck was shot, and that he was very, very hurt that he wasn't able to see him and to speak to him and explain. He's talking about Puck being very hot-headed, and also I just want to throw in here, this is the last person I ask if Puck is in heaven, because Biggie told me no, he's not here. So that's the last person I ask. Take that as you will. I don't believe Puck's in heaven. I feel that he's still here on earth. So take that as you will, but Biggie said that he's still here, and I believe that now 101%. Yeah, he said the way things ended between me and him really hurt me. That was my brother. We had a deep connection. We came up together. We rose together. And people just wanted to tear it apart. He said it hurts me to think that people think I had something to do with his passing or his death. But he knows the truth. And he's very adamant about the truth. I feel like he was a very honest person here on earth. He's saying that money was made from them hating each other. He's adamant and wants to say that P. Diddy had nothing to do with it. He's saying that the fallout between himself and Puck wasn't orchestrated by anyone on his team. He wants to say that. He talked a lot about dreams and how he used to have psychic visions. He's saying he used to have a lot of psychic dreams, so he would see things that in his sleep that would wake up and then visualize and would happen. He's saying he also kept diaries. He used to write a lot, and that's where a lot of his lyrics came from. That's why he was so lyrically gifted, because everything, which is why he made me make notes, everything he felt, envisioned, he wrote down. He has a child with him in spirit, that is his child, that didn't make it to earth. This is a baby boy. I feel like now he would be in at least his 20s, and I feel this was a baby that he would have had with Little Kim. So I feel this is a birth which didn't go to full term with Little Kim. So as I recognised that this energy was with him, I asked him about, obviously, his relationship with Little Kim and Faith Evans, and he said he loved them both. And what was very interesting was, usually when you're dealing with a situation or a circumstance like this, the person would usually say something as along the lines of, I love them both, but I love them differently. And he actually made a point of saying, I loved them both the same. My relationships with them were very different, but I loved them both the same. He's saying he wished it had gone down differently between the two of them, or that he hadn't have met them both, because it hurt him when he crossed over, looked back at his life and realised the pain and devastation that he caused both of those women. He's saying, I was immature in this situation and I apologise. He's very, very sorry about it. He regrets the way that he handled that situation, very much so. He describes the relationship with Kim as like, you know, when you have that really cool boy best friend, they had a real best friend connection. He's saying that she was a cool ride or die chick that was by his side no matter what. There was lots of laughter. When he shows me his relationship with Little Kim, there was lots of fun and lots of laughter, and it was a real friendship based relationship. He put down a strong best friend connection. And he's saying Faith was equally as close to him, and more than anything, he's saying that she deserved better from me. She didn't deserve the way I treated her. He said she did not step a foot wrong, and she was made to be his wife. She was absolutely wife material. He makes her feel very maternal, much more mature than Little Kim. It's like Little Kim, the relationship with Little Kim was very youthful and very young, and the relationship with Faith Evans was very mature. He had two very different experiences with those women, but he apologises to them both for the pain that he caused them. He's saying, I didn't mean to inflict any pain. I was just immature, and I'm sorry. He was a very smart young man. He talked about being able to spot snakes within his team from a mile away. And he also said that he kept his friends close and kept his enemies closer. He liked to keep enemies within his camp because he liked to know what was going on at all times. I feel like he was very analytical. He had a very quick eye. He saw things very quickly. He didn't share his wisdom. He kept things very close to his chest because he didn't trust. There's a lot of trust issues here with Biggie. He didn't trust people very easily. And he would play along with people's games. So when he knew people were lying to him, he would absolutely play along with it. He said, I was just a normal guy trying to come up doing something that I loved. He's very laid back, chilled and calm, and was very easygoing. He didn't have a hot temper. Very opposite to Puck in that way. He was very, very relaxed. When I asked him, do you know who murdered you? He said, I was murdered by someone I considered a family member and a friend. He was a police informant, and it just goes to show you that you never know who can be trusted. And that's why he wanted to talk about the fact that he kept his enemies close, because there was a real thing with trust, especially the bigger that he got, the more trust issues that he gained, and that was his way of controlling the situation, was to keep people close in his camp. When speaking of P.Diddy, he said that P.Diddy has stuck by his family for the whole time. He's very painful when he talks about the relationship with P.Diddy, because he knows that when he left, P.Diddy was very, very deeply hurt. He's saying that I've watched him grieve time and time again from this side, and especially over Kim Porter. And what he wanted to say, which I thought was so beautiful, and as he said it, I nearly, I got very teary-eyed. He said, I want him to know that I was here to welcome Kim home. I was here to welcome Kim to the other side. I was involved in that movement and that party. He's saying she's here and she's with me and I'm protecting her from this side. And even as I say this, I feel very, very emotional. But he wants him to know that. He's saying it's very, very important. He stuck by my family so much on earth. Particularly my mother. He would check in on my mother and make sure she was okay. So I want him to know that I've done the same thing for him here on this side. I helped her transition over. I made sure she was okay when she came over here. Oh, and one of the last things I talked about, because I ask every single person who's crossed over this, what is now your mission from the other side? And the one thing he said to me so clearly was gun crime. So know that Biggie Smalls is working to better the laws involved in gun crime, to better the way that it's held specifically in America. He is working on that from the other side. It was one of the things he was adamant about. He says, I don't want to see any more of my people getting shot, and that's not just black people, that's any people. So he's very, very adamant about that, and that's his mission from where he is now. So I'm very, very intuitively and energy based with Biggie. I feel that that's everything that he kind of wanted to say. He feels with that he's cleared up everything. There's no more, but we will pull some cards on it just to clarify the situation. So we've got an extra card. Oh, an extra 2 cards. Okay, that's fine. We'll take them. Okay, there's a lot more cards here than I would usually have. I'm just going to move them up and over. So there we go, just so we've got enough space. Okay, just move that back. Okay. Okay. Very interesting. Very, 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 very interesting. I feel like Biggie was someone who always kept his options open. So he always had a plan A and a plan B. It was never like, I'm going to do this and this is all I'm going to do. Like, he kept his options open, which is why he had relationships with more than one woman. Are you happy for me to say that? Thank you. Okay. The Chariot represents Biggie on his mission to succeed. Biggie knew what he wanted to do. He knew he wanted to rise up out of his circumstances, and he knew how he was going to do it. The Chariot, can you see this man? He is strong in his position. There are 2 horses, so there are either way you can go, but he has the control. He's moving forward. He's focused on his journey, and he's focused on the destination. Biggie had an undeniable determination, which is why he is so calm and relaxed. He didn't get caught in the drama. No matter what you hear, no matter what is said about him, he wasn't getting caught in the drama. I told you, he's very smart. He was very analytical. He didn't have a hot temper. He wasn't hot-headed. He took everything with a pinch of salt. He didn't trust anybody except himself. With this card, it does represent that there will be light and dark on the journey you're on. Okay? So there were good times and bad times to come ahead from him. This represents the very beginning of his career, how he set off and how he planned to keep going. The 7 of Swords warns about people in your camp and in your team that cannot be trusted. So this is here to say that I was right. There were people in my team that couldn't be trusted, but I kept them there. This is to warn you to be careful of people who want to come in and use you. But he was too smart for that. But like I said, he let them think that that's what they were doing. But he played them just as much as they tried to play him. Okay. So that's acknowledging that he was right. That what he thought and what he felt was right. Now, the 2 of Cups talks about a love commitment. I feel like this was the relationship he had prior to meeting Faith Evans, and it's not Little Kim yet either, because Little Kim here I feel represents the High Priestess. I feel like she shows up as the High Priestess, and I feel like the Queen of Cups represents Faith Evans. This is a woman before. So this talks about very early on in his career he was in a relationship with a woman. The Eight of Swords talks about denial. It was something that was never going to work out, and he's saying sorry. There's an apology for that woman as well. A lot of apologies to women here. He's saying I was just immature in the way I acted, and I'm sorry. He did have a child with this woman. I don't know. I know Biggie Smalls does have children on Earth, or a child. Is it a boy and a girl? He has. I feel like he has 2 children on Earth, but I feel like one of them came from this woman, and he wants to apologise to her because I feel like he led her on slightly, and this was more her feeling around the relationship, that she was committed to him and he kind of let her down. And the Eight of Swords does kind of, it's a swords card. It talks about being stabbed in the back. Yeah, so this is just the acknowledgement of how his situation went, really. Then the Queen of Cups represents Faith Evans. Now, like I said, Faith Evans, when we are talking about Biggie Smalls, has a very maternal energy. I feel like she mothered him. I feel like she nurtured him. I feel like she did his washing, his cooking, his cleaning. You know, she took on that role. She was prepared to be his wife. But the funny thing with the Queen of Cups is it talks about intuition, and I feel like they connected on a psychic level, because I feel like she also was able to predict and feel certain things. I feel that Faith Evans is an empath, and I feel like they connected spiritually on that level. Where he connected with Little Kim on a very earthly based level, he connected with Faith Evans on a very spiritually based level. So that's what the Queen of Cups represents. She represents Faith Evans in his life. Okay. Funny thing is, it's connected to the Star, which is a psychic card. Okay, the Star talks about inspiration, guidance, creativity. It talks about energy, intuitiveness. It talks about you being in a position for your creative ideas to flourish. She gave that to him. She gave that to him. I don't feel like Biggie Smalls came from a very he didn't, you know, he came from very humble beginnings, but I don't feel like his background was very you know, like a lot of rap stars come from very turbulent homes. I don't feel like Biggie Smalls came from a turbulent background. I feel like his mother is also a Queen of Cups energy, and she made sure that he had firm foundations and that he was raised properly, and she raised him right, and she made sure that he went out into the world. She was shocked at some of his behaviour, and he's again saying sorry, Mum. The way he treated women, she didn't really approve of. She knew that she'd raised a good man, and so that hurt her as well. I think that hurt her as well. But this card talks about his foundations. These are at the heart of his reading. He, at the heart of everything, was raised by a strong woman, and Faith Evans took on that role when she married him as well. The Star talks about his career as well and how successful it was going. It talks about new ideas flourishing, creative success, dreams coming true. This is really when his career is starting to take off. So this is him trying to build the career. This is the career now taking off. The Sun, as we know, talks about a new beginning. That's what it gave him. It gave him a new lease of life. He was able to break free. He was able to treat his mum to things he couldn't treat her to before. It gave him a brand new start. Wands talks about creative success. So that is, you know, what more can you say? What more can you say? The new beginning gave him creative success. I do feel that beginning of his career, and actually for his whole career, he was very cautious. He was very careful. He was very trod carefully, and that is why this whole thing with Tupac hurt him so much, because he thought Tupac understood that. He thought Tupac had a mutual respect for him, where he understood that he would never hurt him in that way. He's talking about Suge Knight and how Suge Knight played a lot of the cards in this situation, and that he's upset that Puck believed Suge Knight over him, because he really did feel that they had a best friend connection. He's saying it is what it is, and he's holding his hands up to it, but it did upset him. Wands talks about peace being restored. So he's at peace with his passing. He is another person who's saying, I completed my mission on Earth, and I'm happy with what I did, and I'm very happy that my music still played and that my legacy lives on. Actually, represents taking a step back. So this, I feel like he has put down as the representation of his passing. He's saying that he doesn't place any hate or anger or anything on that situation, so he would appreciate if other people did the same. He places a lot of peace on the situation, and he's not angry or hurt at the way things happened. He is very, very grateful for the way his life went. It's funny because I would have never ever thought that Biggie Smalls was a spiritual person, but there's so many spiritual cards here. The star, the high priestess, the sun. He was very spiritual, and the fact that he just wants to put the Six of Swords down and said the battle was over when I passed away, and I place complete peace on that situation. He's just keeps saying, I ask that you do the same and that we stop talking about it in a hateful way, because he feels like his passing has been tarnished slightly by, again, people trying to make money off of him and Tupac. And he's saying, I don't want things to go down like that. I place complete and utter peace on my death. And I ask that you do the same, that you stop talking about it as a hateful situation, because it isn't. Whew. And the last card, which I love as the last card for Biggie Smalls, is the High Priestess. Biggie with this is telling me he wants the last card in his reading to be the High Priestess because it represents women. He's talking about how women played a big part in his life and how the women that are still here on earth hold his secrets. There are women on this planet that hold secrets about Biggie Smalls. The High Priestess talks about higher wisdom, intuition, spirituality. He says, I was a spiritual being having a human experience, and he's really acknowledging his spirituality. I feel very spiritual with Biggie Smalls. The High Priestess talks about being on a creative and a spiritual path, and he's acknowledging that that's exactly the path that he was on from day one, and the women he encountered along the way helped him on that path. There's a big thank you to the women in his life, a massive thank you, in fact. He's saying thank you for my kids, thank you for the love, thank you for the wisdom, thank you for the light. He's realized a lot from his passing, and he saw a lot from the other side, so he's very, very grateful to those that have stood by him. And all he's saying is just let the hate be dropped and let the love be lived. That's it. He doesn't ask for much more than that. He's saying, I've been crossed over for a long time now. I've seen a lot of things. I know the truth, and I knew the truth. He's saying, actually, the situations and the actions of people I've seen on earth were validated for me when I crossed over. So I know I was right. But all he's saying is stop putting hate on my name. That's what he's saying. Stop putting hate on my name, because there was no hate from me towards anyone else. And that's the truth, and that's the end of it. Whew. There's a lot of love to be shed on earth from Biggie Smalls, and he is saying that he will continue to send love. He's saying the earth needs it. He's not the only spirit that I've connected with who said that. He's saying, I'm sending so much love and light to the earth because earth needs it right now, and I will stay focused on my mission. Again, he's saying, which is gun crime. This is the path I chose. I love you, I miss you, God bless you, peace. He's pulling away. Okay. Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. What an insightful, beautiful, knowledgeful reading. Thank you so much for watching. Leave some love for Biggie in the comments. As always, comment your favourite Biggie song. And I will see you soon for another reading. Thank you so much for watching, lovelies. Bye.